Today News Update.
A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, July 26. So glad you could join us. On this day of national significance, marking the 85th anniversary of the 1937 riots, General Secretary of the Caribbean Movement for Peace and Integration, David Denny, calls on the island's trade unions to return to their revolutionary roots. Speaking at a ceremony held at the gravesite of Israel Lovell, one of the leaders of the 1937 riots, Denny says unions must take up the cause of working-class Barbadians now facing serious challenges.
There is a need for a revolutionary trade union in Barbados that will stand on the principles of Israel Lovell and Clement Payne. There is a need for a strong working-class movement that must be developed so that we can struggle on behalf of the working classes in Barbados. Because we are threatened by a number of international funding agencies who want to roll back the gains that we have gained as working class people in Barbados.
Head of the Israel Lovell Foundation and government MP Trevor Prescott laments that not enough Barbadians understand the importance of the day of national significance or the contribution of Israel Lovell.
We talk about independence, we talk about Republican status, but how you reach that point? How did you reach that point? It's in the 1930s that we were able to reclaim this country, a colony from the British. It was men like Lovell that was at the forefront of the struggle. When black boys ran the streets actually naked. Nothing dramatic about that. Many young men in the 1930s ran the streets without pants and had probably two color shirts, khaki and white. Barefooted with, and in some cases with chiggers.
100 years after.
These are the men who said, this is not right.
In other news this Tuesday, Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kurt Humphrey doubles down on his position that sex workers must be protected in Barbados. As he made his contribution to debate in Parliament today, Humphrey lamented last Friday's fatal shooting of sex worker Carolyn Beard, and he made clear he intends to take action to ensure all women are protected.
I feel that we must do something to keep the people on Bush Hill safe. Bush Hill is in St. Michael's South. Just as I would feel that I should do anything for any other area in St. Michael's South, I feel that those children, the ladies there, sir, they call some of them, sir, the Jabez ladies, the ones that are registered with Jabez House, sir. They call them Jabez. Those are the ones trying to change their life. Some of them got scholarships and went on to finish schooling. And if you took the time, sir, to be curious, not you, because I know that's who you are, so that you're a social worker, but if people took the time to be curious, sir, and to hear the stories of some of these people who are doing things to feed their children, to make sure that their children do not do the things that they are now doing. Tell me, in what universe could it be wrong, sir, to want to protect these women, sir? And they're not selling services to themselves? We also, sir, have to be cognizant, sir, that through family planning, for years, this government, the other government, the government before that, the government before that, well, family planning was offering services to these ladies on the streets for years. And that if you start to pull back the assistance that government has always been giving, then you run the risk of increasing all kinds of diseases and so on, sir. Because Barbados has taken care of its own.
A fiery Humphrey also took on critics who knocked government's summer nutrition program, which provides meals for all school-aged children. While some suggest the move makes some children look poor, Humphrey was having none of it.
So I have to contain myself because I listen to people talking about not giving children school meals because it can make them look poor, and but most of you born poor though. And most people of color came to this country, sir, against their will, chained in a boat. Unless we forget, and some people were able to get certain things, fair enough, but all of us came here, sir, as slaves. Just go back 3 or 4 generations and none of us ain't had nothing, sir. And I am one of the people, sir, let me tell you, I knew the smell of school meals from my classroom. I knew on Mondays that you're going to get the orange. On Tuesdays, you will get a rock cake, sir. And I know that I knew the students who didn't like the rock cakes too. And before lunch, I would tell them, make sure you have your rock cake so that I would get that too. And that's the truth. I know, sir, what it meant to be able to get a meal, sir. I know that I am a grown man. I know what it meant for my mother to not have to feed us, sir. 8 children, struggling to feed them. So tell me how it is that people telling me now that it is a shame to give poor people's children food. Sir, they're not shame in being poor.
It's the final week for Crop Over 2022, and the big events of the week are all on stream. At a news conference today, CEO of the National Cultural Foundation, Carol Roberts-Reefer, and key stakeholders told Barbadians they are in for a spectacular last lap and their grand cadouement.
We're starting at Warrens, going all the way up to the Emancipation Statue, looping and coming all the way down, going through Waterford Boulevard. The bands are going to the National Stadium. They're going to be fed and watered, the revelers that is, and then we're going to have just a little cool down then in the Botanical Gardens that worked so well just a few days ago for Pandemonium. Around 9 o'clock, we bring that event to an end by announcing the dates of Crop Over 2023 so that we can begin the marketing of the festival with the BTMI internationally and begin planning the 2023 festival with our stakeholder groups as soon as possible after that.
Regional and international news coming up after this short break.
In the ocean, it's like a picture in motion. Just ride the wave, I'm feeling so fly.
Pure oxygen is way more than just water. We infuse pristine water with over 1 billion tiny oxygen bubbles using our state-of-the-art process. The benefits of additional oxygen are huge, from strengthening your immune system to increasing energy levels, stamina, and sports performance. And that's not all. It also improves skin health, helps you sleep better, and reduces stress. Join the movement of people experiencing the benefits of pure oxygen. It's not hype, it's science.
Welcome back to Regional News. Bahamian Prime Minister Philip Davis is expressing concern about illegal migration, but he's not about to bow to international pressure for his country to absorb Haitian migrants. We get the details from Eyewitness News in the Bahamas.
Multiple countries have asked Prime Minister Philip Davis to commit to accepting more irregular migrants. This much coming from Davis yesterday on the heels of that boating tragedy where 17 Haitian nationals lost their lives after their 30-foot twin-engine vessel capsized in rough waters near New Providence.
The world is suggesting that we should absorb all of those who leave Haiti. That's what they would say to me. When I was at the Summit of Americas, they wanted me to sign on to an irregular migration declaration. That includes, but we have our own peculiar circumstance that I keep reminding the world of. We are unable to open our borders to irregular migration and our refugees either, because of our own limited resources.
The Prime Minister adds that these countries asked the Bahamas to do things of this nature, but at the end of the day, who foots the bill?
You, the taxpayers. So we have this delicate balance that we are going through. So insofar as exiting, between the police force and the immigration department, they are collaborating to ensure that we assist in preventing the exiting of the irregular migrants here who usually head to the north.
On the international front, European Union nations have agreed to ration gas as Russia announced another cut to supply, sending prices up once again. More from Al Jazeera TV.
The energy crisis looming over Europe dominated the meeting of EU ministers in Brussels. Rationing gas ahead of winter, the best and only way to reduce the EU's reliance on Russian energy.
45 BCM corresponds to a 15% cut in our usual gas consumption between the beginning of August and the end of March. That's why we have pointed to this percentage as the target all member states should strive forward.
Russia is set to further reduce supplies through the Nord Stream pipelines, blaming a technical fault at one of their stations, something EU ministers dispute.
As of today, there is no solution to the ongoing equipment issues at the Portiavea compressor station. There is no solution whatsoever yet. Siemens is saying nothing. They're trying to find solutions, but there are none.
As the West and Russia exchange economic blows in response to Russia's war in Ukraine, European leaders say Moscow is not a trustworthy partner.
The winter is coming, and we don't know how cold it will be, but what we know for sure that Putin will continue to play his dirty games in misusing and blackmailing by gas supplies.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Europe is already at war with Russia, just on a different front.
All this is done by Russia on purpose to make it as difficult as possible for Europeans to prepare for winter. And this is an open gas war that Russia is waging against a united Europe. This is precisely how it should be perceived. And they don't care what will happen to the people or how they will suffer, from hunger due to the blockading of ports, or from winter cold and poverty, or from occupation. These are just different forms of terror.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Azumi Medium bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.